If this journey toward heaven's pharmacy speaks to your heart, subscribe, leave a like, and share in the comments. What simple remedy has God used in your life? Tell me where you're watching from. Let's discover together how the Creator embedded healing in creation itself. Now imagine standing in a world drowning in complexity while 3 forgotten keys lie hidden in plain sight. The lamp burns low in the physician's study. Bottles line the shelves, compounds with names that twist the tongue, prices that empty purses, side effects that require more bottles still. Outside, the morning sun touches dew on grass. A stream runs clear over stones. In the forest, charcoal forms where fire has passed through wood. The simple and the complex exist side by side, yet the world reaches always for what glitters, what costs, what promises without requiring faith. Ellen White walked through hospital wards where suffering stretched from bed to bed. She saw the intricate machinery of modern medicine, brilliant, costly, often necessary, but she also saw something else. In the quiet hours, when visions opened her understanding, she witnessed the author of life pointing to remedies he embedded in creation's foundation, not to replace every medical intervention, but to remind his people that healing flows first from his hand, not from human ingenuity alone. She writes in the Ministry of Healing that nature itself bears the signature of the great physician. Water, sunlight, charcoal, elements so common that pride overlooks them, so accessible that poverty cannot exclude them, so gentle that children can use them safely. Yet within their simple properties lies power that laboratories often attempt to imitate. The world's physicians study for decades to understand the human body's intricate systems. They map every nerve, catalog every chemical reaction, design interventions of stunning complexity. Their work saves lives, and gratitude belongs where healing occurs. But Ellen White saw deeper. To the source who designed our bodies and the true remedies, who appointed means in nature to cooperate with him in restoring what sin has damaged. Charcoal draws toxins with a hunger that chemistry describes but cannot nullify. Water carries life through every cell, cleanses every system, supports every function that keeps the body temple intact. Sunlight awakens processes that build strength and steadiness in mind and body. 3 remedies, available since Eden, waiting for humanity to remember what pride made it forget. The vision continues. In every age, when civilization grows complex and medicine grows costly, the faithful few rediscover what their ancestors knew. Healing begins with trust in the one who made the body, continues with the simple agents he provided, and culminates in the restoration of humanity to its original design. The woman comes to the spring at dawn, pitcher balanced on her shoulder, mind heavy with worry. Her child burns with fever through the 3rd night. The physician's medicines have failed. The family's savings drain away like water through cracked earth. She kneels by the stream, not just to fill her vessel, but to weep where no neighbors can see her desperation. Ellen White understood this scene. Through the testimonies for the church, she wrote of families impoverished by medical bills, of remedies that promised much and delivered little, of suffering that continued while bank accounts emptied. But she also wrote of water, the first medicine, the universal solvent, the substance that comprises most of the human body yet costs little to obtain. The counsel comes with quiet authority. Water, applied with knowledge and faith, accomplishes what expensive treatments often cannot. Hot water opens pores, increases circulation, draws inflammation to the surface where the body can address it naturally. Cold water braces the system to alertness, stimulates organs that have grown sluggish, sends fresh blood coursing through vessels that disease has narrowed. She describes families learning to use water baths for fever, not the tepid comfort of modern bathing, but strategic applications of temperature that work with the body's own healing mechanisms. Hot foot baths that draw blood away from inflamed areas, cold compresses that reduce swelling and calm overheated tissues, steam that opens airways and loosens what infection has thickened. In Counsels on Health, she points to water's broader work. It helps to cleanse organs burdened by unhealthful habits. It soothes joints that pain has stiffened. It bears nourishment to weakened cells and aids the removal of waste. The body, formed to depend upon pure water, begins to mend when this simple need is met abundantly. But the vision extends beyond physical treatment. Water baptism cleanses the soul as water treatments cleanse the body. The parallel runs through all Ellen White's health writings. Physical remedies reflect spiritual realities. The person who learns to trust water for bodily healing begins to understand how trust itself becomes medicine for the deeper diseases that poison human experience. Families that embrace these teachings discover something remarkable. Medical bills decrease while health improves. Emergency visits grow rare while energy increases. The expensive crisis interventions that modern life seems to require become less necessary when simple preventive measures restore the body's own ability to maintain itself. The woman at the spring learns to see her pitcher differently, not just a vessel for drinking water, but a tool for healing. The spring itself becomes a pharmacy where heaven provides what earth's wisdom cannot improve upon. The dusty road stretches through Galilee, and along its edges the sick wait. They have heard rumors, not of another traveling physician with leather bags full of exotic remedies, but of one whose touch accomplishes what no earthly medicine can achieve. A leper approaches, skin eaten by disease that renders him untouchable by human law. A woman hemorrhages life away, 12 years of suffering that has bankrupted her family, seeking cures from every available doctor. Ellen White opens The Desire of Ages and reveals the profound connection between these biblical scenes and the simple remedies heaven provides. Christ, the great physician, never carried a medical bag. He used no complex preparations, prescribed no expensive compounds, operated no elaborate procedures. Yet his healing was complete, instant, permanent. The same divine wisdom that flowed through his touch appointed simple means in nature, water, sunlight, and the carbon that becomes charcoal when fire purifies wood. When Christ healed, he often used the simplest materials. Clay mixed with saliva restored sight to eyes that darkness had claimed. Water became wine that strengthened wedding guests. The loaves and fishes that fed thousands came from the humblest sources, yet satisfied completely. The pattern emerges clearly. Divine power works through common elements, transforming the ordinary into instruments of restoration. Ellen White taught that this same principle governs all true healing. The Savior, who spoke worlds into existence, invested creation with healing properties. When he made water, he designed it to carry nourishment, cleanse tissues, regulate temperature, and support the functions necessary for life. When he gave us the charcoal that forms from wood, he provided an agent with a remarkable affinity for impurities, useful in drawing poisons and purifying what disease has contaminated. The journey toward healing often leads through valleys of discouragement. Families exhaust their resources, pursuing treatments that promise much but deliver little. Desperate parents mortgage their futures, seeking cures for children whose suffering seems beyond relief. The sick lose faith not only in medicine, but in the possibility that their Creator cares about their pain. But Christ's healing ministry reveals a different path. He never sent anyone away because they lacked money for treatment. He never required expensive preparations before offering relief. The widow's son, the centurion's servant, the nobleman's child, all received healing that cost them nothing but faith in the one who made their bodies and understood exactly what they needed. Ellen White understood that when modern believers learn to use water, sunlight, and charcoal with intelligent effort and trusting prayer, real help becomes available. Not because these elements possess magical properties, nor because they guarantee miraculous results, but because the same divine wisdom that guided Christ's ministry still employs the simple agencies he has provided in nature. The leper's skin becomes clean, the woman's bleeding stops, the dead are raised, all through direct divine power. Yet the same God who performed these miracles also created water with properties that cleanse and refresh, sunlight with power to invigorate and cheer, charcoal with capacity to absorb impurities and quiet irritation. Christ never competed with nature's remedies because he created them. The physician who learns to combine sound medical knowledge with these heaven-provided elements walks walks the same path the great physician demonstrated, using all available means while trusting ultimately in the one who knows both our maladies and our remedies. You stand before a choice that echoes through eternity. The evidence spreads across the table. Laboratory reports showing how your body responds to strain, pharmaceutical pamphlets promising relief from symptoms, and beside them, a piece of charcoal so simple a child could understand its use. The courtroom of conscience convenes, and every decision about healing becomes a verdict about whom you truly trust. Ellen White wrote often in the Testimonies for the Church about charcoal's helpful properties, and her counsels reached deeper than technique. She saw in purification a parable for the soul, how fire changes what is common into something fitted for service, how trials, born with faith, refine human character. Experience and study confirm what practice has shown. Charcoal's myriad pores create a vast internal surface, providing a humble substance with extraordinary capacity to take up impurities. When toxins meet this prepared material, their mischief is checked, and the body may cast off what would otherwise burden its systems. But Ellen White understood that physical purification mirrors spiritual reality. Just as charcoal draws poisons from the body, a Christ-like life uplifts and safeguards a home and community. The person who submits to heaven's purifying process becomes a blessing amid moral contagion. Their presence steadies troubled hearts. Their example quiets strife. Their words help drain bitterness from wounded families. You face this choice daily. When your child suffers from food poisoning, when your spouse battles digestive disorders, when your own body struggles with environmental toxins, you can reach for costly interventions or remember what Ellen White taught about simple helps. Mixed with water to form a poultice, charcoal draws infection from wounds. Taken internally, with good judgment and appropriate counsel, it can quiet irritation and support the system in times of distress. The judgment extends beyond immediate healing decisions. When you favor simple remedies where appropriate over complex protocols, you honor the Creator's design while still appreciating skilled medical care when it is needed. When you trust what God embedded in creation rather than relying only on what laboratories manufacture, you choose wisdom over pride. Ellen White saw families transform when they embraced these principles. Children grew strong, using remedies that cost almost nothing. Parents discovered that treating causes naturally often reduced symptoms that expensive medicines merely covered. Emergency room visits decreased, while family health improved, freeing resources for ministry rather than medical bills. But the deeper transformation occurs in character. The person who learns to trust simple means for physical purification begins to understand how spiritual purification works. Just as charcoal must pass through fire to develop its helpful properties, human character must pass through trials to develop the grace that neutralizes moral toxins. The courtroom reaches its verdict through daily choices. Each time you choose simplicity over complexity, trust over anxiety, natural remedies along with prudent care, you render judgment in favor of the Creator's original design. Each time you see charcoal draw toxins from a wound or settle an upset stomach, you witness a parable of how suffering, born in faith, can transform ordinary people into instruments of healing for their communities. Ellen White's counsel echoes through the years. The same God who fitted charcoal to purify what is defiled also designed character purification to work through similar principles. Fire transforms wood. Trials transform selfishness into service. Both processes make something that can absorb what would otherwise poison the system, physical or spiritual, that needs healing. The choice remains before you, as real as the charcoal in your medicine cabinet, as eternal as the character you build through daily decisions about whom to trust. The morning sun breaks over the mission hospital compound, and I watch the medical missionary begin her rounds. She carries no expensive equipment, prescribes no costly pharmaceuticals, yet her patients show remarkable improvement. Her secret lies not in advanced training, but in understanding what Ellen White revealed about sunlight's healing power and how it transforms both bodies and communities. Through medical ministry, Ellen White names sunlight among God's healing agencies, a remedy so abundant that poverty cannot exclude it, so gentle that children thrive under its touch, so powerful that modern systems attempt to imitate what it freely provides. The missionary learned these principles and now watches them transform an entire village. Each morning, she guides patients outside. The elderly woman with painful joints sits where dawn's rays warm her swollen hands. The child, weak in bones, plays in carefully measured doses of sunshine that strengthen what growth requires. The tubercular patient rests in the garden where clean air and natural light combine to fortify his frame in ways no laboratory can duplicate. The transformation extends beyond individual healing. As families learn to use sunlight wisely, the community's entire approach to health shifts. Homes are redesigned with larger windows and better ventilation. Work schedules adjust to maximize beneficial sun exposure while avoiding harmful overexposure. Gardens flourish as people discover that plants, like humans, thrive under heaven's light. Ellen White understood that sunlight represents more than physical healing. It symbolizes the spiritual illumination that missions bring to darkened communities. Just as the body benefits from sunlight to strengthen and regulate, the soul requires divine light to develop spiritual health. The medical missionary becomes a conduit for both types of illumination. In her counsels to gospel workers, she connects these realities. Communities that learn to trust God's simple remedies for bodily ailments become more receptive to spiritual truth. Families whose health improves through natural methods often experience increased faith in the Creator who designed their bodies. Physical healing opens hearts to spiritual healing. The harvest metaphor becomes literal as gardens planted by healthy families feed the hungry and provide herbs for simple medications. The seasonal rhythm of planting, tending, and harvesting reflects the patient work of building trust, providing healing, and witnessing spiritual transformation. Sunlight nurtures both crops and souls. Years pass, and the missionary watches her initial patients become healers themselves. The woman with arthritis now teaches other elderly villagers about therapeutic sun exposure. The child who grew strong shares his knowledge with younger children. The tubercular patient, now healthy, starts a clinic that combines simple remedies with gospel truth. Ellen White saw this multiplication effect as essential to medical missionary work. When people learn to use sunlight, water, and charcoal effectively, they become less dependent on expensive systems and more capable of helping their neighbors. The simple remedies create sustainable health improvements that don't require ongoing outside support. The morning rounds continue, but now former patients walk alongside the missionary. Sunlight streams through windows of homes designed for health. Children play in gardens that provide both nutrition and medicine. The community has learned that the same God who embedded healing in creation also embedded the gospel in natural law. Both reveal his character of love and wisdom. The pharmacy closes at midnight, its neon cross flickering against the darkness. Inside, shelves overflow with bottles bearing promises: pain relief, anxiety reduction, sleep aids, energy boosters. The prices climb higher each month while the side effects multiply. Yet 3 blocks away, a spring flows clear under starlight. Above, the moon reflects sunlight across continents. In the forest, charcoal forms where lightning has passed. Through ancient trees, Ellen White's vision completes its circle. In the ministry of healing, she wrote that humanity would rediscover what Eden knew, that the Creator embedded healing in creation's foundation, available to all, requiring only faith and knowledge to employ. The 3 simple remedies stand as witnesses to divine wisdom: charcoal drawing toxins from corrupted systems, water carrying life through every cell, sunlight strengthening what weakness had diminished. The integration becomes clear in families who embrace these teachings. Morning sunlight streams through windows designed for health. Pure water flows from systems that rely on simple filtration and cleanliness. Charcoal sits ready in medicine cabinets, available when toxins threaten. The home transforms into a healing sanctuary where crises grow rare and vibrant. Health becomes normal. Yet the deeper healing transcends physical relief. When simple remedies restore the body, faith in the Creator deepens. When inexpensive treatments prove helpful beyond costly alternatives, trust shifts from human pride to divine design. When families discover they can maintain health without bankrupting themselves, resources free up for service to others who still suffer under medicine's financial burden. Ellen White saw the end of the story. Communities where these principles flourish, where medical missions combine simple wisdom with sound knowledge, where the gospel spreads through healing that demonstrates God's character. The expensive and complex give way to the simple and accessible. The exclusive becomes universal. The profitable transforms into the freely given. The neon cross flickers and dies. Dawn approaches, bringing light that no manufacturer can improve upon, illuminating water that no chemist can enhance, warming earth where carbon waits to be transformed by fire into helpful charcoal. The three remedies remain, patient as their creator, available as his love, effective as his wisdom intended. The choice echoes through every medicine cabinet, every doctor's visit, every moment when pain demands relief. Reach for complexity or remember simplicity. Trust innovation or embrace the ancient. Pay premium prices or accept heaven's free gifts. Ellen White's voice whispers across the years, healing flows from the same hand that formed the human body. The remedies he provided at creation are among the means he appoints for our restoration. Water, sunlight, charcoal, three keys to unlock the pharmacy heaven embedded in earth, waiting for humanity to remember what pride forgot.